Hite Report on male sexuality, and we're talking to Shere Hite, and we're coming back and going to find out if L.A. is all that kinky, but we won't continue with that. What is, in your survey, what is a man's concept of love?
It's very interesting because men's concept of love seems somewhat different than women's.
In what respect?
Well, women were much happier to fall in love and be in love than men were. Men in our society are brought up that to be male is to be in control of your feelings, in control of your relationship, in control of your job, to be a success, all of that. If a little boy falls down and stubs his knee, they say, stand up and be a man, don't cry.
Don't cry, yeah.
So men, then when they would be a teenager in their 20s and really fall in love, a lot of them felt uncomfortable. I was very surprised to find that out because they felt out of control at that point.
In other words, they thought, in their mind, the next step was marriage.
Well,
perhaps.
No, most of them didn't think that falling in love was equated with marriage at all. They felt that if you're going to be married, what you should look for is someone that you consider stable and that you didn't feel vulnerable with. So that was the opposite of being in love. Men, in the same way that I talked about, men wanted to be in control. Men wanted to define love as I love her, not I'm in love, because being in love, you're in a more passive position. You need the other person to love you back. When you love someone, you're just giving, you're providing in a way. So when men were in love, they were in the turmoil because they loved it on the one hand, but at the same time they felt really uncomfortable and out of control and very vulnerable. And also, if the woman was passionate towards them, if she was in love too, then on some level many men felt like, well, maybe I can't really trust her over the long haul. She's not the type to marry because she's just too passionate. The double standard, you know, still there.
And the other thing about your survey shows that most married men stray.
Well, yes.
And fool around, as they say.
Well, most men in my study hadn't married the women that they most passionately loved.
Really?
No. Most men didn't think that the idea of getting married...
What, were they marrying their mothers?
Well, a little bit,
Would you say?
A little bit, yeah.
No, I'm serious. The mother image, like
I'm serious too.
Many girls have the father image, you know.
Right. Well, you know, I did a roundtable for Mademoiselle magazine of men in their 20s, and one of the men said he was in love, but he had no intention of marrying that woman, although it was fun to be with her. He felt too vulnerable, and the best thing to do when you feel that way, he said, meaning very passionate, is to hole up for 2 weeks and have a lot of sex and get it out of your system. I'm editing his quote.
What is your appraisal of that? I mean, what do you...
I thought that was really very... I said, don't you think you're just doing what your fathers have done and using the double standard? You know, you'll marry the nice girls and have fun with the bad girls. And the men there said, oh no, we're just being rational.
So the man who strays is doing what you just described, right?
Well, the man who strays may have married a woman that he thought would be stable and comfortable and fit into his life, but maybe he didn't feel that overwhelmingly in love. And then after he's married to a woman he didn't feel that excited about, he feels trapped. Well, he is trapped, but he trapped himself in a way.
Another statistic in here that I must bring up because it seems rather strange to me. 43% of the males you surveyed admitted to, at some time in their life, of having had sex with another male.
Yes, Kinsey found 39%.
And you found
boys. 43. It's about the same.
Going up.
Going up by 4% as well. Yes, it's funny that we don't talk about it very much, and girls don't seem to do this, but boys do. It's sometimes older boys, it gets to be a competition. Oh, I can shoot further than you can, or, you know, have you been able to ejaculate yet? And it's, you know, I mean, it's a lot of, it sounds like it would be guilt-ridden, but to hear boys describe it, it wasn't at all. It was just fun.
Yeah. Now, one of your most startling discoveries was the fact that males report much stronger orgasms in masturbation.
Yes, and Masters and Johnson have said that also.
Do you think this is a point of concern?
Concern for, you mean that people will stop wanting to be with each other?
No, I mean, concern. You know, that men will stop. they'll stay home more.
They'll stay home more.
And dance and do things that I don't know. No, for women I'm talking about.
Well,
concerned for women.
No, men would prefer to have orgasm with a woman and during intercourse or during fellatio, but they said that they were so kind of burdened with all this performance idea that they had to worry so much about having long intercourse because they thought that was the way to help the woman have an orgasm. And so they were so concerned with this, you know, all the stereotypes, think about the garbage can or something. And so they felt they couldn't really enjoy themselves fully.
Excuse me, how did they react when you said that a woman, will have an orgasm faster through
clitoral stimulation?
Yeah.
Well, you know, in the questionnaire, I don't inform them of that. In the questionnaire, I just said, how do you feel about it, and how do you do it, and all that.
Do they do it?
No, most of them said, clitoral stimulation is important, but it should happen automatically during intercourse.
Excuse me, what a terrible point to have to say. David has to leave, and but he's glad to go.
I don't think I can stand up, though.
But Cher, would you please stay? And we're coming right back with author Fran Lebowitz right after this.
No, I'm not glad to leave. I wish I could.